Okay, Bailey, take it away.
All right. Well, Emily is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ooh, thanks, Emily.
You're welcome.
For the echo from Melissa.
That was actually kind of a little scary, to be honest. Okay, introduction of new guests or members, but besides our speakers, I don't think anyone is new, and I'll let Emma and Kathleen introduce themselves when we get to their presentation. So Renee, with some announcements.
Okay, so we have free PPE available for any business that requests it. We are running low on the N95 masks, but we have plenty of the 3-ply surgical masks. So if you need any for your business or nonprofit, just give us a call here at the office and arrange a time to either come pick them up, or we can deliver them to you within, Fortuna. Free at-home COVID tests are now available through mail order. You can request up to 4 tests per household at covidtests.gov. Some health insurers are also doing free tests, whether or not you have to fill out a claim form or you can get them free at point of sale is up to your insurer. So you would just have to contact your private insurance and see how to go about getting those free tests through them. The Eureka Symphony will host a chamber music benefit on February 6th at 3 o'clock at the Eureka Women's Club. The Fortuna Concert Series is crossing their fingers that they'll be able to have their upcoming performance on February 12th at 7:30 featuring the Gatehouse Well. They've had to postpone and cancel a number of shows because of COVID, so we're all crossing our fingers. Also, the Ferndale Repertory Theater is officially back open. Oh, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. This week, starting January 28th, with a live performance of Noises Off. This show will run through February 20th. And then finally, the Humboldt County Alzheimer's Association is looking for volunteers to help organize this year's walk. I believe their walk is scheduled tentatively for October. If you're interested in being on their planning committee, just give us a call here at the office, 725-3959, and we can get you in touch with that organization. And that's all I had. So I will kick that back to Bailey. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any announcements they'd like to make? Emily, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, a couple things. I think I know everybody, but I'm the president of the Fortuna Business Improvement District Board of Directors. The Downtown Merchants Association is having its monthly meeting this Wednesday at 8 in the morning. Amber, I want to make sure you get that meeting link. So I will send that to you later today. They're supposed to be talking about like a manual of operations for the downtown merchants. And I think the citywide yard sale as well. And then I also want to let everyone know that our new executive director started today. Her name is Kaylin Stainbrook. She will be doing office hours at the Monday Club, Monday through Thursday, from 8 a.m. to noon. So if you see Kaylin or you know her, make sure you give her a warm welcome to FBID. I let her loose on those computers in that office this morning, which haven't been used in months. So she's got some updating to do for our organization. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else have an announcement they want to make?
Well, I'd like to introduce officially, and then we'll get to Melissa's fingers up, I see. But I wanted everybody to meet Stephanie Richardson. You'll be getting phone calls from her. She is our new membership coordinator, and I'm going to allow her to say a few words. Oh, not allow her, but let her, sorry, let her say a few words and talk about some new members that we have. So take it away.
Hi, you guys. Thank you. I have a few new members that I wanted to introduce. The first one is Tessa Elebrecht. She is a mobile notary public. She's lived in Fortuna for the past 10 years. She travels across several counties, including Humboldt County, Trinity, Del Norte, and Mendocino. She specializes in simple notary signings as well as more complex. And so we have all of her contact information, and she has been posted as a member. She is very excited to be included in the chamber, and she can't make it today, but she will be joining at future meetings. The second one that I have to introduce is Veronica Gonzalez. She is the owner of the Heart of V. And so she has a skincare line that she makes at home, which is plant-derived oils, anti-aging ingredients, lip balms. She has facials, scrubs, oils, great for gift giving. She's also very excited to join the chamber. The last one that I wanted to introduce is Ink File. They are a nationwide company. They provide services for new businesses. They can help form LLCs, your corporate filings. They can help with amendments, name changes, foreign qualifications, and we also have their contact information for those that need it. Thanks, everybody. I'm super excited to be a part of you.
Yay.
Thanks, Stephanie. Welcome also. Anyone else? Hi, Bob Trudivine.
Hi, Bob Judvine.
David Davey, Renee Lindsay, Stephanie Richardson. Good morning.
Okay. Hey, Bob, I was going to make an announcement about pork and pork. You want to go ahead with it?
Oh man. Oh man.
Oh, man.
So Fortuna Sunrise Rotary is doing a fundraiser, and regrettably, one more year, we're going to hold off doing the seafood boil. It still felt like it was not the ideal time to dump a gigantic steaming vat of seafood in the middle of your table for everybody to dive face first into. So instead, we're doing a delicious pork and cork event where you can get a delicious dinner for two, pulled pork, coleslaw, grandma's baked beans, some sort of spellbinding dessert, and available also for purchase. We'll have wines and beers and whatnot. It's going to be at the fire hall. It's I want to say it's the 12th. Thank you, Becky. So it's just going to be delightful, and we can't wait to see you there. It's $50 for a ticket of two, and there'll be plenty of food for two people, maybe three, unless you're ravenous.
Oh,
All right.
thanks.
Way to go. Good job.
Is that the 12th of February?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Cool. Thanks.
And you can get those tickets online at fortunasunriserotary.org or from a friendly Rotarian near you.
Cool. Thanks, Bob and Becky. Anyone else have any announcements to make?
Melissa did. Melissa, where are you? Where'd she go?
I'm here.
Did you have your hand up?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome to my new office in Ferndale, everyone. If anyone knows any Humboldt makers, thank you for the Heart of V. I'll contact her today. Thanks, that's good info. My current office is 3,000 square feet in Ferndale on Main Street, and I need help filling it. So most of it is going to be filled with goods made by Humboldt makers. So please share with any of your friends and tell any of your talk to me. The consignment to have their products in the store is only 20%. The owner of my building is Guy Fieri, and thankfully our rent is super cheap, so we can offer a really good deal for our Humboldt community. So please send people my way and come in and say hello.
You sound like a bumblebee.
I know. I gotta get a new mic and webcam.
Yeah, so if any Humboldt makers make good mics, go see
I'm
Melissa.
I'm working with all the old junk from the journal office.
Alrighty. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us before we get started? Nope. Okay. Okay, so our guest today is Emma Brockhon and Kathleen Marshall from the Humboldt Literacy Project.
Well, hello. It's great to see you. We really appreciate being here with the Fortuna Chamber. It's been a while, of course. It's been a while since any of us have done much of anything. I am Emma Brockhon, and I'm the executive director of the Humboldt Literacy Project. We connect adults who want to improve their reading and writing skills with adults who want to volunteer to tutor them one-on-one. We're the only place in Humboldt County offering free, confidential one-on-one English language tutoring. And we've been doing this for a really long time. We started out as an HSU grad student project in 1981, and we got our nonprofit status in 1985, and we've been doing this ever since. It is pretty important what we do because about 15% of United States adults are functionally illiterate, and that number has not changed in the 11 years that I've been doing this and many, many years before that. That statistic has been remaining firm. My joke is I'd like to put myself out of business, but it seems that I'm going to be here for a while trying to help people increase their skills. And it's a little difficult when you are one of the 85% that do have those skills. It's a little bit difficult to understand that pretty much anytime we've got a gathering of adults of any significant size, there will be somebody in the room who has struggled on some level in some way with their reading and writing. And I like to ask people to think about what that would mean in their life. What are you going to do later today? What are you going to do next weekend? Are you going to use your reading and writing skills for it? Usually we're doing it without even thinking about it. So, and it's very difficult. It's even for a sensitive, intelligent person to truly imagine, how different their life would be without those skills. So I like to tell a little, two little illustrative stories about a time I was illiterate and a time I was literate. So we'll start off when I was, quote, illiterate. I was traveling in Europe, and travel illiteracy is, of course, very privileged. My health isn't on the line. I'm not trying to gain employment. I'm just trying to get around. So this is before smartphones, to give you an idea of how old I am. Half my luggage is filled with foreign dictionaries. And each time I'm about to get off the train in a new country, I'm, teaching myself a few phrases in the local language. I figure for a traveler, it's really good to know how to say, I'm sorry, mi scusi, et cetera, in as many languages as you can. So I'm in France. I'm with a family friend hosting me. She speaks perfect English. Okay, keep this in mind. We don't have a language barrier. She speaks perfect English. And we're towards the end of my trip, and I forget exactly what we were discussing, but it was very important to me. I think she was giving me an address or some directions on how I was going to take the train to the airport in the next few days. And I was missing my friends. And, there's no overseas phone calls at this point in the 90s. And she gives me this important address that I need. And the last letter in the last word is Z. And okay, how many people here, let me look at your nodding heads, your smiling faces. How many people here know what Z is? Okay, because I did not know at this time that Z is how many English-speaking people throughout planet Earth, mostly not in the United States, pronounce the letter Z. She was trying to tell me the letter Z, and we're just staring at each other like we're both crazy. And I felt in this little 60 seconds, 90 seconds, I felt the fight or flight creeping in. I was like, I need to figure out what Z is, or I'm not gonna get where I'm trying to go. And it was genuinely scary. And of course we got through it and everything was fine, but it's just, a real lesson in how easily you can get hung up and get barred from critical information when you've got a literacy gap. So if everything was fine, I'm a tourist. Then another time, I got to learn exactly how powerful my literacy was. And that was a very eye-opening experience. So I've told this story a lot. A couple of you may have even heard it, but I had a very, very annoying telemarketer in my life. To give you an idea of how long ago this was, they wanted me to switch my long distance telephone carrier over to their company. So I had some automated calls, some robot calls, and I also had sometimes the same guy calling me, trying to get me to switch over his long distance company. And nothing I could do. I would beg, please, please, please. I'm very happy with my long distance carrier. Please don't call me anymore. I think I must have sent a fax off to some special fax number that they had. And oh yes, then we'll stop calling you within 60 days or something. And I was really at my wit's end. So I started poking around on that primitive dial-up internet. I probably went on Metacrawler and I discovered what is called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which spells out exactly why they can't do what they're doing. And the next time he called, I was ready and I had my notes by the phone and I was so proud of myself. And I was explaining to him why you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's thousands of dollars of fines for your employer every time you do this. It's like $11,000 of call after a certain point. And he says, nuh-uh. And I say, uh-huh. And we go back and forth. And he really blew up on me. And he says, whoa, 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 what are you, a lawyer? And I wasn't even trying to be cute or sassy. I was kind of surprised at how upset he was. And I said, no, I'm just someone who knows how to read. And we were both kind of shocked. And I kind of realized I didn't have to be a lawyer. I didn't have to go to school for years and take a notoriously difficult test. I just had to know how to read, my native language so I could access the information and read it back to him. That's all I was doing. It wasn't some kind of magic spell, or I wasn't a sorceress or anything. But that was a time that I learned that it is a big deal. And that's why we're doing this at Humboldt Literacy Project. Is to help people get through their everyday life with help of their language. So having said that, there is someone I would really like to introduce you to. We have newly installed in our Fortuna Main Street office our program coordinator, Kathleen Marshall. So I'd like to throw to her and let her say hi to you for a moment.
Hi, everybody. So, yeah, I started with Humboldt Literacy Project, probably 2 months ago. And it's been great. I'm working out of the Fortuna office. I'm there. Sometimes I work from home, but generally I tend to be there on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from noon to 5. I'm working on helping to organize the office because Emma will tell you more about this, but we just got a huge donation from Sarah Bareilles of books. And we're trying to make room in the Fortuna office for a lot of them. So I'm working on that quite a bit. I just wanted to tell you my own literacy challenge story as well. I am a big reader. I've never had a problem with literacy. My parents taught me probably by the time I was 3 years old, I was reading. My son, however, had reading problems. And his issues with reading were finally diagnosed when he was about 12. And we went through a lot of struggles with him for reading and writing. And I had to go through the school system and get an individual education plan for him so that he wouldn't suffer the embarrassment in his classroom of being asked to read or write something on the chalkboard when he was not capable of that. It took a lot of work. And through our process, he became a full reader and now relies on reading and writing skills in his job as a video game designer. So we had success. But I tell you this story because I really, really, really understand the struggles of dealing with illiteracy, not as someone who has struggled with it myself, but someone who has helped another person go through that. So I'm really, really happy and proud to be now working with the Humboldt Literacy Project for those reasons. So let me tell you where we are in Fortuna. We're at 1645 Main Street. And our phone number is, of course, 1-707-725-0655. And I can be reached at the Fortuna office at that number or by emailing me at Humboldt Literacy, all one word, all lowercase, at gmail.com. And now, bada bing, back to Emma.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. I'm going to go ahead and give you my contact information here, where I head up the Eureka office down on 6th Street, right on the edge of Old Town. I can be called at 1-707-445-3655. And my email is literacyhelpers@gmail.com. But don't worry if you leave the S off. I've worked out a deal with literacyhelper@gmail.com. We're very friendly with each other, but we don't know each other. She's somewhere on the East Coast. but try and remember literacy helpers. So I would love to do a little screen share with you if the technology will let me. I'm gonna walk you through just a little bit here. Hopefully everyone can see that. A thumbs up, great. All right. And come on, slides. There we go. There we go. So I like to start off Tutor Orientation, which we are going to be having on Saturday, February 5th, an orientation for new volunteer tutors. So if you're interested, get in touch with me or Kathleen. I like to ask people to go around and give their definition of the word literacy. And of course, it's a slight trick question because really, to me, literacy means competence. So you can be mechanically literate and take a motorcycle apart and put it back together. You can be physically literate and be an incredible dancer or parkour master. You can be emotionally literate and just be really good at empathizing with people and making them feel comfortable. But of course, we are talking about English language literacy. And we define that English language competency with 4 posts: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. If you don't have those 4 legs on your table is unstable, Mabel. So you really need to work on all those things. Some people think they just need help with spelling. Some people think they just need help pronouncing words. Often they find out they need a little bit more. My next trick question that I love to ask people is, what do you think the average HLP learner is like? And that, of course, is because we do not have an average HLP learner, unfortunately. Adult illiteracy is so rampant in our country that we have people from all different backgrounds and all different life circumstances. Basic literacy is the core of our program. That is native English speakers who still need to improve their skills. We also have a thriving ESL wing where maybe you were a very successful, very good legal secretary in Colombia, but now that you're in California, you need English to continue your career. Sometimes you're perfectly literate and then an injury takes that away from you. Maybe you have a stroke or a traumatic brain injury and you need to rebuild your skills. Sometimes you have what we call a learning difference or a learning disability. Maybe the classroom of 30 to 50 students didn't work out for you. So maybe you have what is an educational difference. Maybe you went to school in a country where school only goes to year 6, or maybe your parents moved a lot and you went to 11 different high schools. Or maybe you weren't doing well, but your teacher was trying to help you by passing you instead of holding you back. So a lot of people have a diploma and cannot read it. More things that our learners have in common: they are incredibly brave. They have dealt with so much stigma and judgment and prejudice. They've been told they're stupid, they believe it, and somehow they work up the courage to come to me, to us, to Humboldt Literacy Project, and ask for the help they need. They are very smart. They're a lot of my learners, our learners, will call themselves stupid. And I find nothing can be further from the truth. Never underestimate someone that you know to be illiterate, because think about what it takes to survive and navigate this world in 2022 as an adult without your full reading and writing skills. You have to come up with all kinds of very creative workarounds and systems and coping mechanisms. That's not stupid. If there is any one thing that learners have in common, I would say that most of them, unless they have a spouse or a family that can help them out, most of them are very low income, just because of the kinds of employment that are available to you. When you don't have your literacy skills, you are going to probably work hard for low pay a lot of the time. Some of the challenges that our learners face are that shame and stigma that makes it really hard to ask for help. Some of our learners have what is, I call, an unsupportive environment or an unsupportive person in their life. And what that means is sometimes it is a component of abuse to sabotage a self-improvement effort. And you can control someone much easier and limit their agency if they don't have those reading and writing skills to see, what else is out there in the world besides this situation. So an abusive person can be very threatened by the target of their abuse, increasing their skills and their agency. Sometimes it's not malicious. Sometimes it's not overt abuse. Sometimes it's the crabs in a pot situation. Anytime you take on a self-improvement venture, as anyone who's ever tried to diet or start a new workout knows, the people around you are going to question themselves. They're going to say, well, if Bob over there is trying to make himself better, does that mean I need to improve myself? Am I not good enough? Bob's making me feel kind of inadequate and funny. And so, you tug that crab back down into the pot. Sometimes some of our learners deal with actual predators. There are actually people who, if they find out you don't have these skills, they will exploit you. So sometimes your boss might give you a paycheck that is not as much as it should be. Sometimes your landlord will try and tell you that your month-to-month lease is actually a 12-month lease, and that you have to pay more money. So there are real bona fide predators out there. That makes it harder to even seek out the help and admit this vulnerability that you have. It makes it kind of dangerous for our learners. And then there's all the everyday issues that everybody deals with. Sometimes there's a health issue. You're sick, but you're supposed to study with your tutor today. Sometimes there's emotional stuff. You fought with your boyfriend, but you still got to tutor your learner today. There's family issues, work issues, financial issues. Everybody has these worries, and we are a real program for busy adults with actual lives. We're not working in a vacuum. So we try and just pull all of those real life things into the lessons that we're teaching that day. Who are our tutors? I'm so glad you asked, because some of them do have an actual background in education. That's great. That's great. If you're a retired school teacher or professor or whatever, that's wonderful. Some of our tutors have a background in social work, and that also is great. Because the recurring theme of illiteracy is it just brings in a lot of other issues around it. It's not a standalone thing. It's if you have problems reading and writing, that is not the only problem you've got in your life. Some of our tutors are really great with the English language. Like me, I'm an English minor. Well, I was decades ago an English minor. So we have some people with English degrees and some people who love to read and are very passionate about sharing that. They are respectful because they have to be to do this job. They're consistent because that's a very important thing, is to be a source of consistency, to be relied upon, by our learners. Be very enthusiastic. Thank goodness we have some very passionate tutors that carries them through a lot, and me through a lot of really hard parts of the job. Frequently, our tutors get shifted into kind of a mentoring role. We do counsel a lot about boundaries and the fact that our mission is adult literacy. Our mission is reading and writing. And that's, we can only do so much, but nobody has just one problem in their life. So yes, frequently our tutors do wind up becoming mentors and friends. And of course, they're very generous because they came to me looking to help a person that they don't even know for a few hours a week. So I think everyone I work with, the tutors and learners, are all very impressive people. Let's see, what are we doing in 2022? We actually have been weathering the pandemic very well, and I'm really proud of us for that. When everything started shutting down, we started moving online. And I gotta say, we attract a demographic that is not in love with the latest technology at all. But we have been working on getting our tutors and our learners online, onto Zoom, onto Skype, onto FaceTime. Some in the, when we were first figuring it out, some people were even mailing lessons back and forth to each other. But the point is, we stayed in motion. We kept doing this. And I was even saying, well, I know we can't be anybody's first priority right now. And somehow our tutors and learners kept it up through all the incredible challenges of these last couple of years. And I'm very proud of us. Let's see, the big deal in the news is that we got this great book donation through Sarah Bareilles. She was a keynote speaker for Scholastic Books. They have annual awards for young people in art and writing. And as her compensation, I guess, for being their keynote speaker, they allowed her to donate 5,000 books to the charity of her choice. And Sarah Bareilles chose us. Oh, by the way, for the one or two people who might not know, she's our local hometown girl from Eureka who grew up to become a pop star, a Broadway star, a TV star, a writer. She's doing pretty good, and she's not forgotten her home. And so we're really looking forward to thanking her. She doesn't even know you are hearing it here first, because we're still working out the details and it's not official, and she has to say yes. But we are working on creating a very special Sarah Bareilles section at Humboldt County Library for emergent readers, where we will have some of these scholastic books and some textbooks. And among other, what that's going to do, among other things, is going to open up our services and allow more people to kind of gain an awareness of us and consider asking for our help. And it's also a place where our tutors and learners, when they need new materials, they can always come to the Eureka office or the Fortuna office and get some new materials. Or of course, we mail stuff and drop stuff off in these pandemic days too. But now they can go to the Garberville Library, the McKinleyville Library, Arcata, Eureka, Fortuna, and they can check study materials out of the Sarah Bareilles section at Sarah Bareilles' hometown library. So not final, not public. You heard it here. Hopefully, Sarah will get back to us pretty quick with a yes. And then she's not, I don't know her, so I can't call her by her first name, Ms. Bareilles. Hopefully she'll give us a yes pretty quick, and then we'll be able to make a big announcement. We are trying to expand the heck out of our ESL program. It's always been thriving. There's always been tons of demand for English as a second language. The state and federal funding that we get considers that to be separate from the what is called basic literacy. So we fund it from other sources, but now the state of California is going to be pumping more money into ESL, and hopefully we're going to get some of that. So if you are a Fortuna business person and your business employs a lot of people who maybe don't speak English as their first language, or maybe don't read and write particularly well, talk to me, get in touch with us. Let's see if we can talk about maybe setting up some on-site vocational English classes, or maybe you've got a couple of employees who would want to be connected to an individual one-on-one tutor on their own time, and give us enough time, we'll give you a stronger workforce. That's what we're trying to do. So that is about all the news that fits today. And then this is the part where I get to wind up and say thank you for using your literacy. It's really a miracle what we've been doing. You've been using your literacy. I'm making these noises with my mouth. They're entering your ears and you're translating that into this information. So you understand almost everything that I've been saying. And that's absolutely incredible. Let me give you one more thing to think about before we get out of here. Let me give you one last little lesson here. And we'll talk about how we learn to read. We learn to read in 3 easy, no painstaking steps. So step 1 is you pronounce the word. Now I'm studying Spanish so I can be more useful to our Spanish speaking learners. I am at level 1. I can read you Spanish all day long, but I only know about half of what I am reading. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to get to step 2, which is where I can recognize each word and its meaning. That is going to be, a very important part of my progress as a learner and becoming a better executive director. In the final phase of learning to read, you take everything that you know about the world out there and you bring it back into the text to find out what the author is trying to say to you. So let's take one line from one song. I like the old soul music. So we're going to take one line from the Sam and Dave song, Hold On, I'm Coming. In a river of trouble and about to drown. Well, is this a song about water safety? Are Sam and Dave lifeguards? I can almost guarantee you, no, they are not. So what do I know? I'm trying to read this. I'm trying to piece this out. I've been to a river. They're big and overwhelming and they move fast. Okay. Trouble. We know what trouble is. Okay. And about to drown. Well, that sounds pretty scary. I mean, you could die. So if I take what I know about rivers and trouble and drowning and bring it back to this text and try to figure out what is Isaac Hayes trying to tell me, what feeling is he trying to give me, I understand, okay, this is just a whole lot of problems coming at me all at once and I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I don't even know if I can make it through. And that's my phase 3 literacy. So thanks for letting me talk this long. Did anybody want to ask any questions about the literacy project? Is there anything else I can tell you guys today?
I had a couple of questions for you. The books that you got from Miss Bareilles, were they like a random sampling of authors? Is it like young adult, fiction, nonfiction? Or is it just like one collection of books, like a Harry Potter collection or something like that?
They actually put me in touch with a representative at Scholastic who does this. This is her job. She just gifts books to organizations. So she spent a good hour or more on the phone with me. She interviewed me about what we do and who our clients are and what we're trying to achieve. And then she, out of that, emailed me a list of a couple of thousand titles that she thought could be potentially helpful. And then I and our board went through those titles and picked the ones that we thought were most likely going to be the most useful out of that bunch for our learners. And there's a lot of fiction and there's not a lot of textbooks, and ordinarily, we gently, politely discourage most book donations because we usually need specialized texts. But we were able to, for instance, get some graphic novels, which really work for some learners. And every learner, because we are one-on-one tutoring, we get to work with that learner on that level, on their interests, on their goals. So for some of them, those graphic novels are going to be a godsend. And for some of the advanced readers, we do have a small amount of learners at the high school and college level, although I would say most of our learners are at a very, very fundamental level, still sounding out words and stuff. So the Scholastic gave us a really nice cross section that's going to help a lot of different people with different needs.
That's awesome. Becky put a question in the chat. What's the nearest business to your Fortuna office? I know where you are because I've seen the boxes and boxes of books.
Yes. yes, we're going to have boxes for a while.
Yeah. So I think you're over by, what's the FedEx building? I think,
Yeah.
or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right
Those-
next door to the FedEx building, towards the feed store.
Right.
And of
Yeah.
course, good old Shots. We're right near
Yeah.
good old
Yeah,
Shots.
2 doors
Coffee.
down, yeah.
Yeah. Not too far
Yeah.
from Punon's. You can have some lunch. Yeah, that's great.
Exactly.
So, question about tutoring. So if somebody wanted to become a tutor, what's required? Do you guys give a set curriculum? I'm guessing it's one-on-one. I don't know. Can you just talk about like kind of what you're looking for? Because tutoring is different than probably what people might think it is, or they might be discouraged if they think, well, it's going to be really hard to teach somebody to read. But maybe you can just talk a little bit about that.
Well, it is hard and it is different from what most people think it is. And I spend a lot of tutor orientation February 5th, really bursting people's bubbles. I really, we show this great heartfelt video of actual tutors in other cities' programs telling their stories, and the people cry. And my predecessor, who trained me into this job 10 years ago, she would cry every time she showed the video, even years later. And I have to tell you, that's the last chapter of a very long book, and it takes a long time to get there. And there's a lot of, it is hard work, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's hard work. Most tutors are, even though I try really hard to set the expectations, most tutors are a little caught off guard by the ancillary emotional aspects of, like, yes, you do have to be a little bit of a cheerleader sometimes and take your learner by the hand. And sometimes a learner needs to laugh and joke with you for 20 minutes before they can settle down and try to read again. And usually the surprises are pleasant, though. Like I've had a lot of tutors come to me and say, I came here to help somebody. I didn't come here to get enriched myself and get all this that I'm getting out of the program. And is that okay? And of course I say, yes, that's okay. So it is hard. It is not what you expected. We're not lying in a hammock reading War and Peace for a very long time. It's going to be a long time. We're going to be on CATDOG for a while. And so I think, especially if you are a voracious reader, book lover person, you might be just want to get going and get onto that War and Peace phase. So you got to give it a little bit of time. And so, yes, I do try and crush people's expectations quite a bit in orientation. And if you are interested, even after all that, you really should check out our website, HumboldtLiteracy.org. We have what I hope is a pretty terrific website. And you can even apply. You can fill out the application online to join us at orientation and become a tutor, because really the main thing you need is just the resolve to sit down with a stranger and try. That's really, you don't need a degree, you don't need a teacher's certificate. You just need to be able to sit with a person and try.
Right. Do you keep the meetings to a certain time frame?
That's decided by the tutor and learner themselves. They pick their schedule that works, which is another really good part of doing this one-on-one. You're not trying to coordinate 30 people, just one. So probably most of our teams work together about an hour or an hour and a half a week. And then the tutor will spend a little additional time preparing lessons and making notes after the lesson. With 2 meetings a week, if you can meet twice a week, you can get very dynamic results. And I'm pretty hesitant to recommend anything more than twice a week. Sometimes we get really motivated learners who just want to come in and say, I want to study 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. And I tell them, I'm not going to let you do that. You're going to burn yourself out. So 1 is probably average, 2 is highly effective.
Great. Awesome. Any questions from our viewers? If not, we will let Emma and Kathleen off on their day. And next week, we will have Julie Benbow, the Executive Director from the Humboldt County Visitors Bureau, on as our feature speaker. So tune in for that. And with that, I will wish everybody a great week, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Hi, thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.